If you are ever in the art sector of Instagram or any social media, you will scroll through the comments and see a plethora of people asking, what brush did you use? I'm here today to prove that you don't need any fancy brushes. You can open up the Procreate app and use what I consider to be the most useless, dysfunctional brushes on Procreate to create something good. So I'm going to jump into Procreate. I'm going to find the least useful brushes that come with Procreate, and then we'll get into creating something. So I've gone ahead through all of Procreate's many brushes and selected what I consider to be the strangest brushes that most people don't reach for when they're going to create digital art. So now that I have my brushes, I want to hop onto Pinterest and find references for what kind of art I'm going to be making. So as I'm going through Pinterest, I'm looking for art that has a lot of texture and a lot of color, because with artists like this, you can see that there are no soft edges, which with the brushes that I've decided to use today, there really aren't any soft edges. So with artists like this, you get a lot of those painterly strokes with a lot of texture and a lot of color variation. With enough of that, you can get a soft effect, but this is the style that I want to go in. So now that I've chosen the references, I'm now going to go through and create a story to go along with these brushes. All right, so I just finished making my sketch. My idea here is that a gamer with a VR headset got transported to this other dimension through some magic portal, and now he's come face to face with real danger in a world that he never thought he'd see through a VR headset, let alone his own eyes. So now that we've got the sketch done, I'm gonna jump into starting to paint it. This is gonna be the really interesting part, because I have a lot of textures, a lot of colors to mess with. I'm thinking for the way that I want to render these characters, I want to keep the knight one set of brushes, and then keep the dragon one set of brushes, and then keep the portal and our hero here to be a completely separate brush to really make him stand out from his environment and the other characters. The stickman seems to be very glitchy, which I like. Especially the Aurora too. But the Aurora is more natural feeling, whereas the stickman is super jagged. So I think I'm going to use that more for a character, and maybe the portal too. Aurora, I feel like I could use that pretty much all across with the rest of the characters in the environment, just because it's so natural feeling, especially if I tone it down a bit. The Storm Bay is really interesting because the lighter you go with the pressure, the more accurate it is to the color that you've picked. But the stronger you push down, it kind of goes through the rainbow of colors. And also on top of that, it blurs out the center into a white the more you go over it. Whereas the lighter you push, again, the more accurate to the original color you picked. So I'm thinking I could either use that for the final highlights or just really carefully with flat colors, because that's probably the closest to the normal colors that I pick. Also, the way that it overlaps is really interesting too. Then with the bolt, I'm definitely going to use that more with our main character, because it's got so much character and really stands out. No more stalling, let's hop into trying to paint this thing. As I'm rendering these different subjects, I'm trying to use each of these different brushes for the different subjects to really make them stand out and kind of help tell this story in a way that lends the attributes of the brushes to the different characters. The Flower Power is mostly a really nice brush for like grass, because it has a lot of natural hue variation. The texture lends itself to this grassy look. From a distance, it looks like grass. I think for everything except for the dragon, portal, and the gamer, I'm going to use Aurora because it has just a really natural look. And then as far as colors, I think I want everything to be a little bit green. The nice thing about using these brushes though is that you can get a lot of depth quickly because of the color variation, and because the shapes are so sporadic, you really don't have to worry too much about adding depth. While I was making this, I really found a lot of creative freedom in limiting myself, because confining each brush to a certain element and using such a limited selection of brushes that aren't necessarily easy to use, I feel like not only did it help me create a better final illustration, but it helped me be more intentional with my choices than if I were to just go through the Procreate app and pick any brush that I wanted to use. So I've got the flat colors blocked in. Can start to get the feel of how these things are going to come together. So let's get into that. Going through this illustration, at first I had a lot of different colors, and because I had so many different brushes with such noisy, loud textures, I wanted to go back through and go over these different colors with more of a monotone look. You can see me taking the purple armor and making it a darker green, and that's because I really wanted to, one, emphasize that the main character doesn't fit into this world through the textures and through the color, but also to not overclutter the eye with too many distractions like having different textures and different colors. are done. I think I'm gonna call it there. I'm really happy with it. I can't believe that these brushes really lended themselves to the pretty chaotic effect, but I feel like once you start to use them and get the hang of how the colors act and how the textures act, you can really start to use them to your advantage and use them to make really interesting illustrations. I'm never going to use these brushes again, but maybe you will. I hope this encourages you that you don't need any fancy brushes to make something good. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing and liking the video, leave a comment. I'd love to say hello. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey, Future Noah here. If you guys enjoyed this video, the art that I made in this video will be available as a full-size print, a mini print, a super awesome hoodie, and a shirt with 2 exclusive designs on there. If you guys like my channel, I hope you guys will support it by going and picking one up. The link is in the description of this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.